when I visited the Communist Party headquarters and when they gave us briefings, their system of sifting talent and then grooming it and bringing it up, for me, is probably more remarkable than any democratic electoral democracy does not bring up that sort of meritocracy or can hold people accountable. And third thing is that it's a very flexible system. You know, when they want to change something, that system allows them to bring a change. In our society, for instance in Pakistan, even in Western democracies, it's very difficult to bring change in a system because you're stuck in so many regulations, and democracy straitjackets you. So you cannot always do what is the best for the society because of all the impediments in our system. Whereas I find that in the greatness of where China has improved so quickly is because they make changes very quickly. They feel that something is not working, they change it. The system allows them to change. And fourthly, of course, the long-term planning. They plan so far ahead. Sometimes in a democracy, you only, I mean in an electoral democracy, you only look for the next 5 years and it contradicts long-term planning.
Hi, Minister. Very grateful. Thank you for hosting this meeting online and Ocean from China Day. And another question, it's been several years since China and Pakistan established the diplomatic relationship as well as the friendship between the two. So among all the projects that the two sides have worked on, where do you see the future development direction and the cooperation direction of the China-Pakistan economic rail, and which areas could be the focus points in the next few years? And how do you feel the importance of such cooperation for both countries? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You see, for me, where I see this relationship moving ahead, and I mean the economic relationship because there is the political relationship which is also very strong and moving ahead. But purely the economic relationship, I see the next phase of CPAC. And the next phase is for Pakistan, which is very exciting. We have these special economic zones, and we hope that we hope to attract Chinese industry into these special economic zones by giving them incentives, because in Pakistan the labor is much cheaper than in China, so we hope to attract that industry which will benefit from our cheaper labor. And secondly, where we really want help from China, and we're already working on it, is agriculture. Because in China, the productivity, your agricultural productivity is much higher than Pakistan. Pakistan is basically an agricultural country. And we haven't really concentrated so much on our agriculture to improve our productivity. So this is the second phase, because almost half our population lives off agriculture. And therefore, we hope that we can really benefit from the latest techniques in agriculture from China.
So, Your Highness, my second question is related to the first one. I think you just made a great insight about the Communist Party's way of socialism democracy and also the Western style electoral democracy. So my second question is, how do you view the leadership style of Xi Jinping as the core of the CPC party? What kind of image do you think he creates on the international stage?
You see, President Xi Jinping, when I spoke to him, and Premier Li, what struck me was that the process which they have come through to become the Prime Minister and the President, they started work 30 years ago, and they started working right from the canton, the real village level. And from there, they worked all the way up. They went through all the processes. So really, it's that long struggle which is what makes a leader. And that sort of process is not prevalent in most of the countries that claim to have electoral democracy. You do not have that sort of process. So you look at the American president, he does not go through that sort of rigorous training for leadership like President Xi Jinping and Premier Lee. And the way they work themselves up and the experience they got all the way from village and then to the province and higher levels. So when they get to the top, they are experienced, they completely understand the system, they understand how people live at the bottom, and which is why they have been able to create this wonder of bringing so many millions of people out of poverty. So this is something quite unique for China. You do not see that in any other democratic system. I think, leave alone the rivalry now between America and China, this economic rivalry. But I can tell you that the world, no matter whatever they think of China, because there's a fear of China's economic dominance now. But apart from that, everyone has to admire what President Xi Jinping has done. His achievements, you see, leaders' achievements speak for themselves. And that's what President Xi Jinping has proved to the world.
Your Excellency, how do you comment on the aid programs provided by China to Pakistan, including vaccine, infrastructure, vocational training, and in other social livelihood sectors?
I think, first of all, the way China dealt with COVID was unique. I mean, considering that this pandemic started in China, the way China coped with it, and then when you look at the rest of the world, China really stands out in the way they dealt with this pandemic. And we are very thankful to China because, the way they helped us, the way they donated the vaccine to us. And really, Pakistan is after China, Pakistan is one of those countries which has actually done very well in the way that we dealt with the pandemic, the way which we cope with it. So Pakistan stands out, in this whole region. And one of the reasons is that China provided us the vaccine very early on, and where we immediately vaccinated the health workers. The first thing we did was vaccinate the health workers, and then went for the vulnerable groups. So, the people who were most at risk and we were all worried about were the health workers, because, they had to deal with the patients. And so we were always worried that, if they became demoralized, then, our health system would fail. So when we were able to, thanks to China, we were able to vaccinate them, that gave us a lot of confidence.
My name is Mishi. It's a great pleasure to be able to talk to you, even via Zoom, on this very prosperous occasion when China is celebrating the 100th anniversary of the founding of the CPC. But this year is also a very special year for China and Pakistan, as both countries are celebrating 70 years of diplomatic relations, 70 years of friendship. So I'd like to ask you, based on what you just talked about the uniqueness of the Chinese system and the kind of strong relationship that Pakistan has fostered with China, what do you think the 70 years of friendship between China and Pakistan means for the region and for the world? And where do you see relations going further? How deep these already very strong ties? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, firstly, let's talk about Pakistan and China first, and then the region. Pakistan, there was always a very special relationship with China, although the relationship started 7 years ago. But, China, whenever Pakistan was in trouble, whenever I'm in trouble politically, internationally, when we had conflicts with our neighbor, China always stood with us. So the people